I don't know. There's stranger quirks you could have, you know, I guess but like my oldest sister, she can't have any of her food touching on the plate. Mm-hmm. Not only that, she has to eat one thing until it's gone and then move to the next thing, eat it all till it's gone. Right.
Mm-hmm. I used to kind of do that, but it would be like eating it in an order of like my favorite to least favorite.
Maybe that's how she did it. But like if she started in
that's
on peas,
a little bit more normal.
But I kind of mix it up now. Like I'll take a bite of each thing.
I don't know if she still does it anymore.
One of our family friends, she has similar, very weird eating habits. Like certain colors are hard nose.
Because of the color?
Yes.
For me, it's texture. There's some textures that I just, once they go in my mouth.
What colors does she not like?
I think it's like blue. She refuses to eat anything blue.
Really?
I guess that's
like
blueberries.
How, like
berries.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. I don't know.
That's weird.
That is kind of weird. I wonder if that's a phobia name.
It might be. There has to be. It has to be a phobia.
There's a phobia name for everything.
Right.
Okay. So I guess I can introduce us here today.
Yes.
We're starting. Is your camera going too, Jim?
It's probably already over, but all I needed was a couple seconds.
When I was just walking by, it was still recording. So
okay, yeah.
When I have to stop at 30 minutes to hit re-record on these two, you can check that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm, if you want any more.
I probably already have what I want.
Perfect.
I'm such a rookie. I have such low standards when it comes to that sort of thing.
No, that's fine.
But it'll be fun for you once I teach you that trick to make 3 cameras. Because it's nice.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
God, I feel like, but see, I feel like I'm rubbing sticks together. Even when I do figure something out, I just feel like I'm doing this with crayons, man. And
it feels like that way for a while.
Yeah.
Well, and I think you guys have heard me complain. These things that I'm having to do, I didn't want to do. I didn't want to get good at. I'm not. Well, now. When you finally get something to work in Premiere Pro, it is cool. I can nerd out on that stuff all night long. And so I don't know. Maybe I do want to nerd out on that, you know, and learn it. Well, I don't have a choice. I've had to, you know, and I try to get a hold of this guy and he's so busy with, I don't know what his excuses are, babies, family. I don't know what it is.
We've been so busy. Good for us, though. Thank goodness we are so busy.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
That's awesome, right? That's awesome.
I know, man. Babies, though.
Babies, freaking. Because you don't have any. Do you have any grandchildren yet?
Oh, yes.
You have grandchildren?
Yep.
Okay, how many?
I have 2, and they just came back from Germany. My daughter's
that's weird.
Husband is in the Army. They were in Germany for 2 years. So I just had to Skype my grandbabies.
Oh, they're not here in the country?
They just got back. So they're in San Antonio. So that's at least a realistic destination to go see them.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize you had grandchildren. Okay, let's introduce you. Let's start the podcast.
Yes.
Okay, so welcome.
We haven't started?
No, well, yes, we have.
This will be on. This will
go in there later.
Because I've got a doctor's appointment about 2 minutes. I'm just teasing.
What is that sound?
I don't know. Where's that coming from?
My mind does that. It's right in one of these.
Maybe we're...
You think it's just the headphones?
All of us are here.
Are those all plugged in good into like the XLRs?
Yeah, that thing. I want to, can you show me that later?
These ones too. But it shouldn't be happening on that.
Weird. I mean, it's gone now.
I noticed it like a couple times when we were filming with like Craig. I would hear like a little, see, it just happened again.
Right there.
So weird. Okay.
Huh. Yeah. Well, let's just go for it.
Okay.
If it gets real bad, we can stop and figure it out. But
yeah, that's weird. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, welcome to the Film Garage 208 podcast. My name is Sarah and this is Daniel.
Hello.
Hello. Today we have with us Jim Krager. Welcome
Jim.
to the studio.
Thanks. Hello. Thanks for having me.
This is our friend Jim. He has started a podcast also here in the building. So we've gotten to know him pretty well.
And Jim is a model and voice actor.
He is. Can't you tell?
And podcast host.
Okay.
You can tell when you hear his voice. Say something.
Something.
Perfect.
See, can't you tell? It's radio quality right there.
And I was thinking about doing this whole thing in like a British accent or maybe
we're gonna have you do some
New York cabbie
examples for us for sure.
You know, I'll just do it in New York cabbie for the whole thing.
Okay. Let's see how long you can hold it up for.
Oh, I could do this all day.
Okay.
All day
Perfect.
long. Except I cuss too much when I do that. When I
Get into character.
When I get into character,
Yeah.
it's bad. It's get you be you, Jim.
You do you.
I want everyone to remember he just asked for that. I don't know, man. Anyway,
Well, I want to hear a British accent.
Oh, yeah. I did. So I've been doing these.
Oh dear.
I've been doing these.
That was it.
I've been doing these demo reels, and so I did this narration bit, and it's like 15 seconds, and so I do it just as me. And then I do it kind of Southern, like Alan Bean. Alan Bean was an astronaut. He was on 2 Apollo missions and 1 Skylab, and he's just the nicest guy. Mm-hmm. He had the personality of, he was just happy to be there. If you just give him a mop, he'd mop the floor just to be called an astronaut. Just happy to be there. And then I went into the British accent. So I did the same copy 3 times trying to do this.
I have an accent I want to add to your repertoire. Joe Dirt.
I was just gonna say you're mopping the floors. I was like, is this a plot of Joe Dirt?
Joe Dirt. No.
Woo-wee!
Woo-wee! Joe Dirt.
Got a hammy.
Mullet. Yeah, I remember. I'll get back to. Let me work on Joe Dirt. I'll work
I
on
would
that and
love
give you.
some Joe Dirt.
You're my sister.
I can do. I haven't done Sling
You're
Blade
my
forever.
sister.
You guys know Sling Blade? You know that movie, Sling Blade?
No.
You ought not to be talking like you're just little boy. You're just little boy. You ought not to be. You got to watch Sling Blade, man.
Okay.
That's
So when you're doing these voice actor bits, do you have to do anything to get into character?
Oh yeah, I spend a lot of time. Like if you go down to the studio, you'll see I've got. Sorry guys, I've got pieces of paper everywhere. They're bits of copy, and and I'll finally narrow it down to one that I want to do next, depending on what website I want to send it to, and I'll spend a lot of time with it. I'll do it different ways, different tempos, different accents. Spend a lot of time with each piece. Maybe a little too much time with each piece before I.
That's something you have to actually like practice and say out loud and like keep doing.
Especially with narration, you don't want to sound like you're reading it, but it's a lot of material to go through. And so if I want to read to you about the leopard, I've got to study those 3 pages of the leopard, even though I don't give a shit about leopards, but I don't want you to know that.
Like you're so excited.
It seems like something that'd
leopards.
be easy for the first paragraph, and then once you kind of got going, you might just slip back into your normal voice.
Well, and see, that's what I'm worried about. I was just talking to you earlier about. It seems like they call narration in ebooks the low hanging fruit of voice acting. Like that's the first easiest. Jobs that you can get.
I feel like it'd be a cool job though to narrate a book.
But I don't know if I can sit there
read a whole book out loud.
Like Morgan Freeman, just like.
But a 700 page.
morning.
And any book that's published now has an audio book version. So there's a bunch of people out there reading a bunch of freaking and
books from front to back out loud.
I'm already copping out from the model actor and trying to go down this voice actor rabbit hole. And I had to pick something, and I've got the booth and all the studio and all the stuff. So I thought, well, just pick that and go for it.
Yeah.
It's daunting, man. It's hard.
Do they tell you what kind of voice they're looking for in an ebook, or do they just
for you to portray that book?
They do. And a lot of the projects you'll get live directed. So you'll be on some sort of Zoom or something, and you'll be live directed. They'll stop you in the middle of your read and go, "Hey," and it's more about tempo. You need to pick it up a little bit.
Sure.
We need to have this page read at the 1 minute 27 mark or whatever. And there's a lot of that going on. But I think it's a lot less. It's a lot less vocal quality and more. Just consistently being able to just sit there and read it and do it. And you don't want to overact it in an ebook or a narration. And see, that's getting away from what I want to do. Like I was just saying, it's already, where if it's going to be voice acting, I want to act. I want to do characters.
Sure.
I can do voices. I can do a cartoon,
like a cartoon
voices.
character voiceover for a TV show or movie or something.
Yeah,
that'd
just
be cool.
something that's short bursts of material. So I'm not reading 8 pages of something.
That has to be hours long of reading.
Like your time. I mean, that's just a lot of time.
Yeah.
And if I don't know does the pay go up for ebooks, or is it low hanging fruit because it's cheap?
It's cheap. And there's different ways that you can make money. So there's a price per finished word, but you can choose to do different payments. Like you can take a less fee. You can just take a fee up front for doing your voiceover work and go away.
Okay.
Or you could take less of a fee and get 20% of royalties on the sale of that ebook.
Yeah, it's like
That's a
betting a
gamble.
little bit.
And then there's one where you don't take any money at all and you take a bigger percentage if the book sells. You just do your bit and then walk away. And if it sells great, my fear, and here's my second fear is that I don't have any professional credits yet. And I don't want my first 4 professional credits to be failed ebooks, because at the end of the day, it's
their book.
But at the end of the day, it's a business.
Yeah.
And I'm helping them sell their books. And that's people want to hire me because my voice or whatever helps their books
Makes them
sell.
feel a certain way or understand it a certain way.
Sure.
But I don't know about long read narration. And I don't want to miss this opportunity. I mean, I know I have to pay my dues and work my way up, but I also don't want to hate it. I don't want to sit in that booth down there and
sweating your ass off in there.
Right.
And if you already know what you don't like, then why waste time with it?
See, and that's the other thing is, is that even if I do get my first job and that's it, and I hate doing it, is that, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this because I have to.
You're not desperate.
I'm not
for
desperate.
It.
Well, I'm desperate. Anyway,
you're surviving.
Yeah. I'm surviving.
Yeah.
So
here, I want to backtrack though.
I was gonna say
about you. So, just tell us about you. What's your history? What got you into this?
Yeah.
We've heard it from you before, so.
Oh yeah, these will all be old stories too.
Let's hear it.
Well, I just when I was 9, I got cast as John Boy Walton in the school Christmas play.
Okay.
And of course, to rave reviews, I was hooked and knew I wanted to be an actor. And I just did everything acting from that point on. I took every acting class and tried out for every play from that point on all the way till the end of high school. And then I had some choices to make. Kragers Krossing, the name of the show, is kind of this crossroads where I came to, and I had to decide what I wanted to do. Well, I ended up, for different reasons, joining the military and not becoming an actor.
Pursuing the logical path, maybe.
Or the pressured path.
I guess.
What made sense in everyone else's eyes.
Well,
different times too, then.
Sadly, it was, at the time, it was what made sense in my eyes. And this kind of goes to
because your family was all military, right?
Well, they just all served. I didn't come from, my dad wasn't career. It's like I didn't go from Air Force Base to Air Force Base.
Sure.
He was in World War II, and my brother served 2 tours in Vietnam, and my other brother was in the Air Force for 5 years. So all the men served in some capacity, but I wasn't
career.
a military. We weren't a military family necessarily.
Okay.
But that was the pressure that I felt to go in because everybody had served and I was the youngest. So I thought, well, okay, go do the Air
Might
Force
as well.
thing. And it was fun.
Yeah.
I loved the Air Force, man. Matter of fact,
Where'd you go while you were serving?
Las Vegas, Nevada,
Okay.
Nice.
home of the fighter pilot, home of the Air Force Thunderbirds. And then that was it. And then, so I did that and I got into, I went to college. That's Brian and I met. J&B drafting. Brian's the B. Met at ISU.
Okay. In Pocatello. Okay.
And then we went our separate ways for a few years after we graduated. We did actually 2 6-month internships together out at FMC in Pocatello. And then we didn't see each other again for years. And then I got a job at an engineering firm and we needed a guy. And I remembered Brian and I knew he was working in Pocatello. So I called him up and said, move here. It's better money and whatever. So we worked for that firm together for 10 years. And then he and I went up on our own in 2006.
2006.
That's when we moved up here.
Okay. So you've been in this building since 2006?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes. So talk about paying. I paid my dues in this building.
Right.
I wish I had those kind of acting dues already done. But yeah. And then I got done with that. And I decided, I got, I was 62, turning 62, and I didn't want to draw steel anymore. I wanted to retire from doing that and just pursue acting, because I thought, man, I don't want to die with regrets, not great big ones. Mm-hmm. You're always going to have little ones, but I don't want to die with a great big regret. And if I didn't even give it a shot, that would be a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
in my camp.
Especially when you're capable of it.
Well,
giving it
that
a shot.
remains to be seen, but the desire is sure there. And I can tell you, I didn't work this hard drawing steel. This has really been
Interesting.
hard work from just learning the editing and doing that and all the stuff I didn't see coming.
Yeah.
I just
The back end stuff that you don't realize is actually happening.
I didn't. When I first met you and we started talking, the only reason I was going to do social media platforms is a way to get more of the photos that I had you take out there. I wasn't necessarily, I didn't understand how to use those to my benefit. I still don't. I have other people doing that for me, but you made me, you were instrumental. You and my daughters were instrumental in going, no, you got to look at that differently. You have to use those to your advantage. And yeah, you'll get your pictures out there. And now I can't swing a dead cat without seeing a picture of myself. You guys, up until a year ago, pictures of me didn't exist on the planet.
Oh yeah.
Even in when we went on vacation, I'm taking the picture. Mm-hmm. So God, I don't know. People walk into the studio and they go, wow, the guy's kind of in love with himself. No, this is not.
That's low key. That's low key me, because I'm always taking pictures too. So it's hard to remember to take the time to all right, get one of me now.
No, I was okay with not having any pictures in it. And I was okay with not being on social media.
That was kind of
happy.
a big thing for a while.
Because you didn't need it.
Yeah.
No.
Well, it was just my dad for a long time was refused to be on social media. Mm-hmm. If I had a photo, he'd be like, don't post that. Mm-hmm. I'm in it. I don't want to be on there.
I was the same way. I was actually opposed to it just because it's misused. It was so cool at first. I thought, what a great idea when Facebook first came out, and if you had old Air Force buddies or people you went to college with or whatever, that's cool, man. Keep track of them.
Yeah, but catch up.
The misuse of it seemed to trump the good use of it. And I didn't like when something like that can become, I mean, think about it. You're just published. You're just out there. Anybody's instantly published.
It's
your opinion, your say is out there.
Your face.
So if you wanted,
we went through a learning curve with it. Huh? I said, I think we all went through a learning curve with it.
Society. Because
at the beginning it was
it was a new thing for everybody.
Be careful what you post because your employers can see it now and all these kinds of things. And now it's just encouraged to be your most authentic self. And,
like a tool for current economies.
Yeah. Right. Maybe not everyone, but I feel like as a society, it's a little bit better.
We've evolved a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's still some shit out there, but
I use it to the extent that I need to helpfully perpetuate this, fledgling career. And I am enjoying it. There's been some TikToks that have just made me throw my head back laughing. So there's some cool stuff, but some people who
are so
shall
creative.
remain,
they're so funny.
Some people who shall remain nameless, Michelle, my wife, it's just, if she's not working.
Just scrolling on TikTok or where's her choice?
Instagram, TikTok. Instagram.
It's just addicting though.
It is.
Unfortunately.
And then when I finally got on there, and I'm on there for 2 minutes waiting for something and, she has something to say about it, but she's on there constantly. But I love you, sweetheart, so much. I just want to get that in.
Mm-hmm. Let her
know. And I just did this. I got accused on my show of picking up a cup of coffee and not taking a drink and setting it down. I just did that.
You just needed something to do.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah. So when you decided okay, I'm going to commit to being a voice actor and model and see where this takes me, what was your first step?
Well, first of all, I want to clear up a misconception. Yes, I submitted, and I just covered this on my latest episode. Yes, I submitted to a lot of modeling agencies, Daniel, and I haven't heard back from one. So
interesting.
We're not gonna, so now I'm going down this voice actor rabbit hole. I don't know if I should call myself a model. That isn't that a swing and a miss?
No.
Would you call
No,
it a swing
no.
and a
You're
miss
just,
on
you
that one?
literally just
I was
began.
gonna say we did that photo shoot like a few months ago. Like, if you were
Yeah.
already like off and running as a full-time career, that'd be
be-
amazing.
Yeah.
You know,
One in
that'd
a
be really
million.
fast.
There are so many
Yeah.
Insta models that are like,
I think it's hard
hustling.
to. I think you would have a lot better traction if you were in a bigger city. I think it's just because of where you're at. You're in Idaho Falls, where there's not a lot of like immediate need for it. But I mean, when we were in Hawaii, we used voice actors all the time.
Do from here, and that was the other advantage, was that heading down that rabbit hole, was that I can do it from here. I don't have to jet off to an audition that I don't know
it's true. You
if
don't
I'm
have to
going
be
to
there.
get or not, and
Yeah.
I have to. That's on my dime to get there and cover my expenses just to see if I may or may not. So, but the modeling thing, I sent off to Madrid and. Oh no! I submitted all over the world to all the biggies, and they all.
So was it that response, or did just nothing, no response?
Oh no! See, and that's the cool part. Like on some of the descriptions, I go because they'll tell you in the fine print, we probably won't get back to you, and I'm okay with that. You know, I'd rather you just not.
Yeah.
I can't handle the open rejection, man. Just don't call
Just
me
let
back.
me
That's
wonder.
cool. No, I'm good with the don't. Just I don't want to hear back. But don't call me and tell me I suck.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And then I did get you know, I just got rejected by Voice Jungle.
What is that?
Some fly-by-night piece of shit. I guess I wasn't what they were looking for. Funny thing is, I don't remember what I sent them. I don't remember the submission, so I don't know how bad that
Maybe it was
was.
just a sign
Because there was
then.
like a week there where I was just like joining everything.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know what I sent them, but and it was like weeks later, and they sent me this kindly worded form letter that said that I suck and what I do is shit.
So on these sites, do they just provide you a script to read and then
Yeah. How does
Like,
the
so
audition
what do they tell
process-
you?
Some of them do. So like backstage.com as an example is more of a traditional audition where they'll say, we're looking for a guy to play the part of the high school coach. Here's the scene. You're talking to a student and they give you the dialogue and it's a specific thing.
And it's voice acting jobs. Okay.
But some of these other sites, and I kind of like this better, you send them like 15 or 20 demo samples, which I've done.
Yeah.
And then that has to go through an approval process. And this one Voquent that I sent a bunch off to, it's kind of a strenuous, not strenuous, not the right word. Anyway, it's quite a process to meet their audio requirements and their video I'm sorry, just their audio requirements, but to get those off. But what they do is if you get approved, so like I sent 11 off to them. Okay. And this is before I knew what their audio standards were, their minimum requirements of volume and stuff.
Yeah.
the literal recording, what goes into it, like how many hertz it has to be
Yes.
at? And
I didn't have any of that information. And they came back 12 hours later and they were all rejected.
Love
And
that.
that was Maddie. That's what Maddie's reaction.
Yeah.
And they were all rejected, but it wasn't because of my bad acting. It was because of the bad
The literal audio.
So then I get this thing, and I probably already had it in an email where it said, click here to see our minimums, but I didn't click on that. Anyway, I clicked on it. I went to Audacity. I learned what all that stuff meant, and I redid it, and I sent 11, and 11 got, oh, no, wait. Oh, what happened where they got rejected a second
well, it's
time?
interesting that they're like needing such detailed requirements, because for people who will submit like headshots or even an acting bit, like
It's bare
they
minimum.
usually want you no lights, no fancy camera, phone, as like raw as it can get.
Right. And I was going to make that point. This website, they want almost a finished product. As a matter of fact, if you could put some sound effects to it, because what happens is, and this is what I like better.
Seems like that would be
That's
their
too
job.
much
If you
for an
get those
audition.
reels accepted, which I finally got 11 accepted, then they're out there they send those out to casting directors.
Okay.
And then the casting director, if you fit whatever they're looking for, so you're not auditioning or reading for a specific part, you just kind of put your stuff out there. And I like that because you can put your best stuff out there. And so I did that. I did 11 completely different, from narration to cartoon voices to dramatic pieces, and I sent it out there, and now there's 11. Now, the sad thing is you really need to have about 50 or 60 But now that I know what their requirements are, and I have a much better place to go get the material, the copy that I read than I did at the beginning. I like that. So I'm going to keep sending to sites like that right off the bat here, because I think...
I have an alternative idea of... Oh, we have to restart that one.
This is the worst cup of coffee I've ever made.
Did you make it yourself?
I did.
Do you have like a special machine?
I do. And if I don't get it just right. Plus I put raw honey in. Here's the problem.
Not like a Keurig. It's like Nespresso.
Well, I do have here at the office a Keurig. That's my plan B, but I have a better one at home. But the problem is I put raw honey in it, and in a fresh cup of coffee, it's delicious. But if you take a cup that's got raw honey in it and put it in the microwave and warm it up, it doesn't smell good. It doesn't taste good. And
does it like burn?
No, it's a different flavor.
Interesting.
It's not burn. It's
just microwaved honey flavor.
Yeah, but it's, I don't know. It ruins it. But I have to drink it because it's got caffeine.
You just have to. Okay, my alternative idea. So we've used websites like Fiverr or Upstart. And then what about making yourself a profile on there?
Upwork.
Fiverr. Do you have those profiles on there for that?
When I was telling you that I took a weekend, I was joining a bunch of them. So I joined a bunch of them, and then I just moved on because I had put a show together, or I wanted to get another audition to Voquint or something. So they're all just kind of hanging in limbo because I haven't finished my profile.
Yes.
So now I keep getting these emails. Hey, how's that profile coming? You know, you want to finish that profile for us, and we'll get you. So I'm
because that could be a good one for just like
really
any.
No, I want to.
Random. That's not like if I need some work, I'm not going to go to an agency and be like, hey, I need this.
Because they're not all $5 bids. I'm sure you've seen. Like, you can set your price. I mean, there's some minimums on Upwork and Fiverr where it's like $400 to hire you, so you can have a good rate still.
Yeah. No, I'm all over that.
Because then you're open to people everywhere, you know?
If there were more hours in the day, all of those profiles would be done. If software never went glitchy, if audio never went sideways, if I don't know, man. And then I just figured out, I was telling you, for several shows, it'd be going along, and then all of a sudden it gets really bright, and then it gets really dark. The video on the podcast, I think it's really bright, and you put that on the list. You know, I got to fix the lighting,
literally,
on the podcast. I got to fix the lighting, and after a while, but you half-ass it along the way. You go, well, I'll just dial that or change that or whatever, and finally, you just have to stop one day and drop everything that you're doing
and just fix it
and learn everything about that camera.
That was kind of yesterday. Like, I've had a laundry list of all of these things. Like, something happens, I'm like, add it to the list. I remember, but I haven't been starting that list.
Well, and then the priorities and the priorities, they'll work themselves out.
Yeah.
Each day, the priorities hammer themselves out. You know, so you just get to the next thing that's on fire is the way I look at it. But
it was yesterday. It was Chandler was like, "Why did you make a group on Facebook for your podcast?" And I was like, "I couldn't figure out how to make a page. I just don't know how to do it." And he was like, "No, we're fixing it right now. I'm making it for you. I'm doing this." And then like our socials haven't been like cross-posting to Facebook. So it's like we're like a dead business on Facebook, low-key, because I've just been posting on Instagram. And I realized like it was just unchecked to have like the reels and everything post to Facebook. And I just finally sat down, hit the button, and now my problems are fixed. And I need to do that sooner.
And then you feel what an accomplishment.
Literally,
you know,
I was like, wow.
Man, why did I wait so long to do that?
And it took 10 seconds to actually sit there and like figure it out.
What's more frustrating though is when you like, or the opposite end of that is when you fix something, but you don't know what you did to fix it.
That is exactly what happened with Premiere Pro. You remember those weeks where the episodes weren't working, and all of a sudden it started working, and I still don't know why. And it's almost like I don't want to, you know, like what if it's the F12 key or something? I don't know. What if it's just one thing that I was doing? I have no idea what it is, but it's not doing it. So I'm trepidatiously putting episodes in Premiere Pro, but at least twice I've had a show go sideways in editing on like a Thursday, and I try to put them up on Saturdays.
Okay.
Those were just, man, I hate that.
It happens a lot where we start editing these podcasts that we record on like earlier in the week when we edit it on like a Saturday. And I always kick myself for doing that because I swear those are the times when everything goes wrong. And then I'm up till like Sunday night at 11:30 trying to get this ready to be ready by midnight. And
I'm
just like, I
sing
could've
another
been-
choir on that one, man.
It can feel your pain.
And lose stuff. I don't know if I told you the first time, and if you don't use Premiere Pro, I don't think you're going to get this, but you guys will get this, where you shorten something or you cut something. But it's not gone.
Yeah.
You could go back and grab it and bring it
pull
back.
it down.
Boy, that was a good
You
one to
just
learn.
panicked
I
when
thought I had so much stuff gone, and you can go. It's still
all
in the metaverse. Still exists,
Somewhere.
and you just have to go grab it and pull it back. And I thought that was the most impressive thing ever.
Man, losing footage is the worst. There was one morning where we did this group of headshots, or this lady's headshots.
No, yeah.
And it was bad enough because I already messed up the first headshots we did with her because we got this new lighting reflector.
Well, no,
And-
you did the shots, and then we did a podcast, and then he instinctively hit reformat card, and that deleted everything.
It was the same morning because it was the shoot like 30 minutes before the podcast. And I always normally double check, like triple check the night before. I got everything off, and
We just did the
stupid
shoot.
me, I hit format, and the second I like was pressing it, I was like,
He literally was like, "Oh my God.
what did I just do?"
Yeah.
So then I had to call her back, and it was just a shit show. But yeah, that's like the worst feeling when
Just stupid
stupid
technological
mistakes.
mistakes.
Yeah, you can't undo. You can't undo, man. And
I was like, great, now I have to call this lady and tell her to come back because I'm an idiot. And
well,
I just owned up to it though, and she was really nice and no problems. But yeah, it was like,
And it hasn't happened again.
yeah, I'm very careful now, right? Knock on wood right now.
Yeah, no.
so yeah, it's I don't know, and I'm completely out of my element. Everything is a showstopper for me. I don't know where to go to fix it. YouTube, and I praise YouTube every single one of my episodes. I've learned so much. You could just go there and ask such a specific question, and somebody out there took the time and to go, yeah, I've experienced this and I can help you through it. And it's, man,
Right?
really cool.
There's been times where we have things with us that are so unique. And I'm like, damn, we need to make a video of that right now because you're looking around for the answer and the response. And like,
There are none.
there aren't any. And I'm like, we can't be the first person who's typed this into Google.
Right.
We need to put an answer out there and get this video out.
And I so appreciate people that even think that way, wow, this would really help somebody out. This would really help somebody out. And because like you're saying, I couldn't find the answer. I searched for it. And then if you do finally figure it out, hey, I'm going to share that with people.
Yeah, I like Reddit for like honest answers.
Yeah.
But with camera people, you kind of get some people who are like really pretentious.
Everyone's
and
trolls.
if you say something
Camera
even
people are
minorly wrong,
trolls.
they just like dig into it. And they're like, well, you don't know what you're talking about. It's like, well, yeah, that's why I asked the question. Like,
Now you're making me feel like shit
I
about
think
it.
people
Thank
just
you.
need to like feed their own egos. So,
100%.
but you can find a lot on Reddit for camera stuff. But anyway, so back to like the creativity part of pursuing what you're trying to pursue. You don't like doing ebooks. So like, where do you decide where you want to put your efforts?
That's what I'm in the middle of right now is I'm going to all these different websites and seeing which ones work for me. And like I said, this Voquent place, which is out of the UK, I like that just putting out demo reels because I can pick I can pick my content and pick what I do and put out what I think is my best stuff because I've got I bet you I've got 100 files of different narration, comedy, cartoon, you know what I'm saying?
That you've recorded?
That I've recorded.
Oh,
and
wow.
They're just demo samples, anywhere from 15 seconds to 35, 40 seconds. And then I can piece those together in any combination to send off. And I like that. I have the control of picking and choosing instead of reading about leopards and trying to, sell that the best I can when I'd really rather be doing a cartoon voice or something. So,
Yeah. Have you tried reaching out to like independent production studios, like people like us, but in other states? Because I get emails
like
a
marketing
lot
people?
from voice actors.
That's a great idea.
Like in other places who aren't even close, just offering their service. And
right. Right. No, I haven't. I have looked into and thought about, and frankly, that's kind of what I'm doing right now is freelancing, just because I haven't heard from anyone. But yeah, freelancing is an absolute way to go. And that's why social media is so important, because you build your own.
It's your resume.
That's your resume,
yeah.
you know, and a voice actor has to have a demo reel. A demo reel is your calling card. If you don't have a professionally done demo reel, and until you get one done, you're really not going to be considered.
I'm sure a professional reel really stands out compared to someone who just makes their own.
That's the problem right now. So for narration, if you wanted to go down that road, the type of reel that you would put together would be called a dry reel, which is no sound effects, no music. It's just your voice. Mm-hmm. So it'd sound very much like this. And I would do 3 different styles of maybe the same copy, whatever. That's how I do it is I go to the website and see, like you were just saying, I want to go back to Fiverr and Upwork and see how they're structured and see if that's more, I'm not opposed to auditioning, and frankly, that feels more up my alley. Mm-hmm. That feels more like acting than anything, but yeah. So that's what I'm in the middle of doing right now, is trying to do that while I try to do as much of that as I can until about Thursday. And then I hope I have enough fodder to make a show interesting. Because I still, I'm really glad. At the beginning, I wanted to bring people along on this journey. That's what the podcast was all about. But now the podcast kind of turned into my baby.
Okay.
And now I don't really want to be a successful actor. I want to be a guy trying to become a successful actor and just do my shit.
You just need like a microphone and go around town and just like narrate what people are doing.
Oh my God, that could be a TikTok thing. That's
in different voices and like what they might sound. Like you could watch
someone in a coffee shop where it's like the ad-libbing, the dubbing.
Wouldn't that be obnoxious, like a mime? People hate mime.
Well, no. It's like the dubbing where it's like
where they dub over like Twilight. And they're like, like just make weird sounds. And like, it's just really funny to watch, but with actual.
That's a great idea.
That's a great idea.
It is.
That's the type of stuff that could be
viral. That'd be funny to watch. Just
write this.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to write it down.
You'll
send this part to me. I want to remember this.
Uh-huh.
Can I have that idea, or are you going to do it?
No, you can do that.
That's all yours. I'm not doing that. I hate my voice.
You got a great voice.
It's hard enough to be on this podcast.
Oh, man.
No, you get used to it. But at the beginning.
Oh, boy.
We were talking to someone yesterday who was on the podcast, and she was just saying how she realized how many times she said the word like. I didn't even notice it at all when I was editing the podcast, but I do remember the first few, that was all I could hear.
In like ourselves.
I said the word like.
Picking at yourself.
So many times. So I thought I did. Maybe I still do. I don't know.
Me first listening to myself. And
being a voice actor would be hard because you really notice everything.
And you really have to.
You can't hide behind anything.
You got to pick it all apart.
Yeah.
Every single word, every single sound, everything. You got to pick it apart. But I realized when I first started doing the show that I have a very strange, I don't know if it's strange, but unique style of speaking.
Okay.
It's kind of like a Quentin Tarantino movie.
You can tell it about yourself.
And I never knew that until I watched myself interact with people like this. And I'm like, that's weird.
Right.
And I get after Michelle for finishing my sentences for me, but now I see why she does it, because I just stop. I just like flat
speeding
out
it up for you.
I get to the point in a sentence where I go, you know what I'm talking about. I don't finish
yeah.
Do I have to say the rest of the words?
You get it.
So
just give her a look and she's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, normally she cuts right. It's perfectly timed because we've been married a long time. So it's just perfectly timed where I'm about ready to be done talking and she just goes ahead and finishes the sentence for me. So anyway.
That's perfect though.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you stay inspired? Like, do you have idols that you follow that are other voice actors that do similar things?
I do. I was going to say, you watch a bunch of videos of voice actors, and I haven't researched a lot of them to see if they're successful or if they're working.
Right.
But if you watch a bunch of them, at the end of it, you kind of pretty much are left with the impression you don't want to do this. If you want to be happy or make money, or
like your idols, the voice actors, are saying this?
Well, I don't know. At this point, they're just people.
Okay.
And ostensibly, I think they're trying to help. They're trying to be real, keep it real, man. And this is a hard industry to get into. And so they're trying to keep it real with you. But there's a fine line between, trying to, keep it real and help me out and being a naysayer and just kind of bringing me down. And so you watch all these videos, and that's not true of all of them. There's a couple, and the ones that are really motivational and uplifting are the ones that are successful. And if you do your research, you get some names, and I watch them, and I definitely listen to their their demo reels that they have done. I got a long way to go, man. I'm down there struggling to try to come up with a dry demo reel, and that's going to have to be a do-it-yourselfer, and I'm going to have to put that out there and see what it's baby steps. It's just incredible baby steps at this point.
I think it is so interesting though, how like when you have a dream and you want to do these things, there is always those like groups of people who are very negative, and they're like, don't do it. It's not worth your time.
Because they couldn't make it themselves.
It's either that or they're kind of making it and they don't want competition. They're going to, they just,
you can't trust that.
Well, and especially since COVID, I bet voice acting, I haven't looked into this, but I bet stuff like that went through the roof when COVID hit, because now you can just stay home and record your voice and make money. And, really, you can do that? Well, I'm going to do, and so the industry is, there's a lot of people out there doing it, trying to do it.
I'm sure.
So a successful person who like does this full time as a voice actor, what do their days look like? They just read all day?
Oh man, that's a really good question. And there's some good YouTube videos out there about a day in the life of a working voice actor. Okay. Always starts with a cup of coffee in the morning, and then they go into their booth, and a lot of them, it's so funny. A lot of their stories start out in coat closets where they didn't have any money. So literally they get a microphone in their closet, and you see coats hanging on both sides, and there they are with their cup of coffee, and they're just reading copy in their closet. That's how they start out.
That's so funny.
But no, they're busy all day. This one guy in particular, Matt Mercer, he does, and you'd recognize if you listen to his demo reel, he's just sought after. I mean,
is there anything that we would know him from?
Well, I don't watch. It's a lot of cartoon animated voices. I wouldn't be able to quote them because I don't watch.
That seems like it would be a fun gig
and lucrative. See, once you get that's what I'm after. I want to.
Because you kind of have to be like a famous actor-ish, so people know your voice. Like if Ryan Reynolds does a cartoon voiceover, like the second you hear it
for sure.
Or The Rock,
and it kind of like makes it seem better.
Well, and if you get the right voice, you're comforted by it. Like I can't ever remember if it's David or Richard, so I say David Richard Attenborough. The guy that does the Planet Earths. Okay. But once you hear him go here, there, I read 8 pages of copy the other day, and I never once got to say Glacia. Glacia. I just love that word. Yeah. Oh dear. Anyway, but you hear his voice, and it's just comforting. Yeah. It's comforting to you. It just that's the voice that you want to hear when you see. Now, if he wanted to talk to you about leopards, you'd be all over that shit. He'd be the guy to listen to talk about leopards. It's just a comforting feeling. It's kind of like an airline pilot that's got some gray hair. It makes you feel, just a little peace of mind,
a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah. Like anyone with a British accent selling you something, like.
Why are they're so bloody superior?
Or Australian.
They always think they sound so, it's like they read. Yeah. We don't read, they read, I don't know. They're just if they say, and I've really noticed that. I'll try to do narration.
I really wanted to attempt that with you, but I was going to butcher it.
You should.
Leave that to you.
I tried to do some Russian the other night.
Okay, I want to hear this.
I can speak. I'm speaking it right now.
Like
Sarah.
authentically, you can speak Russian?
Like that was just some gibberish that sounded like Russian.
Do the Russian accent. I had a Bulgarian wrestling coach once. Yeah. And he talked like this all the time, and straight from a 007 James Bond movie.
Right. And
it was so fun.
You have to roll your
It was so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was mean though. Yeah, he's a scary guy. He's a scary guy.
We used to get drunk and sit around campfire. Me and my friend Todd, the Richies, and all those guys, and we would sit around, and everyone would do Russian or.
I was always just so infatuated. He'd be talking about wrestling practice and a move, and it's just like. Then he gets done talking, and I'm like, "Wait, what are we doing? That was so cool!" Like,
well, and I was just gonna say, if I'm doing a narration,
throw him over your shoulder and pop your hips.
break them.
Yeah. Why are you not running?
When I'm doing it, when I'm reading like about leopards, just as me, it's boring. But and then I get to the British accent, and I go, "No, it just sounds better."
Yeah.
And it's so much more polished. So then when I get back to doing the one where I want to do it in my voice, it's like I want to nail it because, God damn it, Americans can do narration too, and I want to sound as captivating as me, as David Richard Attenborough does, in a British accent. So I've really been working on that. Instead of copying out and always doing a British accent, I want Jim to.
Do you know what?
Like different kinds of British accents.
Well, there's so many famous actors that are actually like British and Australian, but all of them are doing American accents in all of their movies. Like you would have no idea that they were actually.
It's crazy to me when people who speak another language sing and then they can sound American. Like
no accent when they're singing.
But then when they just talk in English, they have a hard accent.
Yeah.
It's the craziest thing.
That was a question I had for Chandler when I had him on my show was how come British people don't sing in a British accent?
Really? That's so funny.
And he knew the answer. It's because of where they place, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chandler, where they place something in their throat has to do with something like that vocally. But yeah, that's why they don't sing with a British accent. I don't know if you ever noticed that. Have you ever noticed that?
It's almost like maybe it's coming more from the gut than like your tongue. I don't know. That's weird.
Up here. He says it's
interesting.
It's someplace up in there. He knew the answer, and I was blown away. I had it on a blue card, and I thought it was going to be a question that would trip him up, and he knew the answer, and so I threw the card.
So do you know if in the professional voiceover world, if they need a certain type of like a British voiceover, would it be common to bring someone in that's an English speaker or an American, but to do the British voiceover, or do you just strictly look for someone who's naturally has a British?
Oh no! One thing I've noticed in voice acting is they're very gracious in terms of they want you to do every single accent you could possibly do. Can you do a New York cabbie? Can you do Boston? Can you do Alabama? Can you do? And they want that. But in voice acting, they don't do that. They're way more gracious about it. They go, no, man, if you can do a British accent better than that Brit, you've got the sound that we want. So hell yeah. And that's another thing I really like about that is that they, you don't, if I can't get narration because I'm not British, then I'm wasting my time trying. But I should be able to do it in my voice, which is what I was just saying. I want to try to, I don't know. I think it's like, a voice comes along like Samuel L. Jackson or maybe somebody on a ketchup commercial. This is a better example. And you've recognized that voice your whole life. You don't know who it is. It's some obscure voice actor, but he just got the gig of the Heinz ketchup dude years ago. And now that's the voice. I want to.
Sure. Like you want to be Jake from State Farm.
Yeah, exactly.
But in the voice fat.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to get that one gig like, Lily on AT&T and
and you're just...
And then I can do other
flow.
Do other stuff, but that's the one where I've got
a niche little one little thing.
Yep.
Another thing would be, I don't know how you would ever get it, like the subway cars, like with the metro, when they're like, stand back from the doors.
I just got that. It's so funny that you say that because I just got done doing water flowing. How did it go? Water from the Alacola Valley. But it was just this repetitive. And then I did one for Weber State University where it was like a series of those. And they probably do play them on the buses or in the elevators where you go, welcome to Weber State, where we nurture whatever the copy was, and over and over again. See short bursts. I don't mind doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Read it. You're done. Go grab a burger. I don't want to read a book in the booth.
And then it's there for like 10 years.
Yeah.
That's right.
But every then it's on the opposite end. It's like, dang, they only renew this every 10 years. So, it's like, it's not a lot of opportunities.
I don't know. The caveman just got his Geico bid.
We saw that.
He just got his gig back, man.
The caveman's back.
He got his gig back after 10 years. And I say go caveman. I don't like
that. I know, right?
Screw that.
We saw that yesterday. We were so excited.
And they're good
yeah,
too.
They went about it so creatively too.
They're funny.
How he stands up like, I'm not mad. Like,
yeah. And then she tries to talk to him and he goes,
I'm sure there's a few out there, but yeah, the one I've seen is
really good.
I was pumped.
Really good.
And I saw that E-Trade is bringing the babies back. which I love.
And even better. They're doing the mouths better than they did.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool. That's very cool.
Okay, Jim.
So there really is like a lot of opportunity just in very obscure places. And like,
yeah.
And you got to just, I want to put myself.
seems like it's about knowing the right people.
And getting
Yeah.
seriously
Yeah, it's a mix of
hundreds of
that too, for
auditions out
sure.
there.
Yeah.
If I get hundreds of auditions out there in a lot of different directions, something will grab somewhere down the road. And so that's
Sure.
what
You
I'm
never
doing.
know.
You just
Just
put
gotta
in your
keep
dues.
trying.
Yeah.
So I'm
But
doing.
I was going to say, do you have advice for someone who's wanting to pursue their passion and dreams?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even later on in life when you're like, I'm going to, you can hear it again. Switch
Yeah,
things
and
up.
jeez. I do. I've thought about this question,
Mm-hmm.
and I hope the subtext in my first episode, the crossroads that I keep coming to, and I'm not trying to plug my show, but the crossing that I
It's a
came
cool
to
story.
is this very question where, what do you do? Do you follow your passion? And I hope the subtext of that was, there was no military dynasty that I needed to follow, and the acting opportunity was completely legitimate. And I should have followed my dream at that crossroad.
Yeah.
Because at that time, which I don't know if you said it yet on this podcast, but you had an opportunity to work at Disney. Right?
Well, it was just an ad in a paper, but you just didn't get anything in my world that said actors wanted. I mean, we were doing mime on the buses, on the rapid transit system on the way to the mall, and then me and a buddy of mine, we'd choreograph slow motion fight scenes. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you, people hate mimes. Hate them.
Yeah.
Anyway, my advice is take a second with that decision. Just slow down for a second. If I would have just taken some time and really thought about things, I might have thought differently. I might have chose differently at that crossroads. So I don't know. Follow your dreams. I mean, you want to be responsible. I guess you want to do the right thing, go to college, become an accountant. No, that's bullshit. Follow your dreams.
Just don't regret it.
No regrets.
Yeah, just don't regret it.
No regrets, man. Don't get to the end and have regrets. So that's it.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice.
Yeah.
Because it can be hard. It can be like logical. Like you are raised with those steps of like you go to school, you go to college, you get a job. But then it's like now there's different options. There's different ways to pursue your life. And it's like,
boy, if they
taking those chances.
And if they would have had these opportunities, they had computers back when this was happening, but we didn't have one in my family. But if they would have, like online,
It was just different too. Like the stuff was different.
Any type of that opportunity, I probably would have. It would have been a lot easier for me to pursue that dream. I'm not making excuses, but it would have been. There's so much more. Yeah, different times.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for coming on our podcast today.
Thanks.
I feel like we had a great chat. We scraped the surface about you, though. I'm sure there's so much more in there.
Oh man, there's a lot you don't want to know. The CIA years and stuff. I can't even talk about some of it. I can't.
It's a secret.
It's a secret.
Maybe you'll hear about it on Kragers Krossing. If y'all want to go follow Kragers Krossing.
Yes.
That's Jim's podcast. You can learn more about him and his journey of pursuing voice acting and modeling.
Follow along the way as he starts to get traction, and one day you'll hear
Jim's
his voice.
Jim's going to pop off one day and we're going to be like, that's Jim on the commercial.
Oh my God, is that
We'll manifest it. We're speaking it out into existence.
It'll be an Ashley's Furniture commercial.
Nice.
And it'll be like, that's Jim. That's Jim. Jim's the Ashley Furniture commercial, dude. Hey, Ashley Furniture.
Yeah. Shout out.
Hey,
Okay, well, thank you so
Thanks for having
much.
me.
Make sure and check out Jim and subscribe and follow to our podcast, please. We need to see those numbers go up. I know you're listening. I can see
you're
the
listening,
numbers.
but
I can
not
see where you are.
following.
But I need that follow and subscribe, please. It means a lot. Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Bye,
thanks, everyone.
everyone.
Peace.